What is going on, people? Long time no see, and today I'm back to film another video. Hopefully this time I'm back for good. I know I keep saying this, but hopefully I'm producing more content frequently for you guys to watch. If you're wondering where I am physically and where I've been in the social media world, let me give you a quick rundown of what's been going on in my life for the last 2 years. Long story short, when I started filming on my YouTube channel, it was during COVID's lockdown. And when COVID lockdown finished, I went back to work, and I used to work in a car garage. So I had easy access to a ramp, which made it easy for me to lift my car in the air and film content for you guys to watch. In the first few months of my YouTube channel, I was doing really well, pushing out great numbers for a starting YouTube channel. And then I left my job and I no longer work on cars anymore. So I lost my access to a car ramp. This used to just look like an old barn. I've spent the last 6 months doing it up, painting the walls, fitting the lights, doing the flooring, setting up my tools in the corner over here, which I'm about to show you. And just to get it to the state it's in today, so that I can start filming YouTube privately in my own workspace on my Mark 5 Golf GTI. Let me give you guys a little tour around. This is my workspace. I will show you guys what it used to look like. I know it's not the best workspace in the world, as it is a bit narrow. However, if you compare it what it used to look like and what I've never had before, which is actual private space to work, this is a massive upgrade. Right, to give you guys a quick rundown of how I built this garage. Like I said, it was like a barn garage and it was in a complete state before I got in here. None of the walls were painted. I've painted all the walls white, as you can see, and they're all by weatherproofing paint, so hopefully they should last. There's no electrics in this garage, so if you're wondering how the lights are working, I bought all of these lights off of eBay, and then I've wired them all in myself. As you can see, they all run wiring down the side of the garage. They go into this switchboard which I built. Every light has its own fuse and its own switch, and then they go into this earth and live. This earth and live goes down here into this battery, and that's what powers all the lights in the garage. As for the flooring, it was just like broken concrete. I've leveled the flooring and fitted like gym style or garage style mats, so that it's easy for me to crawl around on the floor and do the work I need to do. And then I built this little workspace in the corner, which just basically holds my tools. I need to get my toolbox over here, and it has all my axle stands and my jacks. But the GTI, you probably haven't noticed, is already up on axle stands. So they're all underneath the car already. So, because I'm ready to work. Like I said, this is a massive upgrade from working out in public car parks or other people's driveways. So I'm very happy with the space. The two drawbacks I do have is the very minimal room I have on each side of the car, which is going to make it difficult to do, well, the job I'm going to do today, which is suspension work. As you can see, it's quite narrow down the sides. And the other drawback is that I get a lot of spiders in here and a lot of spider webs, which is why you probably saw I have the vacuum to get rid of any spiders and stuff like that. Right, that's my garage workspace, and with this hopefully I can start producing more content and uploading more regular and keeping consistent with the YouTube channel. Right, like I just mentioned, I today want to start stripping the suspension off the Mark 5 Golf GTI, which is currently on air ride. I only installed the air ride about 2 years ago. The car's been sitting here for about 8 months. So I've not driven it for that long, and the battery's dead on it as well. And the reason I want to get rid of the air ride is because it is a nightmare. It is a nightmare to drive. It makes it so uncomfortable. I expected that anyway, so that's not too big of a worry. But the other things that are bothering me is, for like example, in the winter time, all the airlines freeze. So when I need to start the car and go somewhere, I have to sit there for about 20 minutes for the airlines to unfreeze so that the air will go into the airbags and lift the car up, which is just a nightmare. Imagine sitting in your car for 20 minutes just to get somewhere. And the other problem I'm having is where I've dropped it and raised it so many times at like shows or when I've just had it parked up, it shot all the suspension in the back. So all the bushes are worn out, they're all ripped and torn to shreds. So it's causing more damage than it's worth. It's a headache, it's long-winded, and I want to just get rid of it and go back to the old style of having lowering springs and shock absorbers. I was a bit skeptical about taking the air ride off, as this is now my second car. I do have another car which is my daily, which I use to get to work and back, and I'm not modified it. It's just a normal car that I use to get to work and back. which is why I thought I should leave this one with the air ride on, because I'm not exactly going to be using it every day. But it was getting to the point where it was making it not enjoyable to drive. So that's why I want to get rid of it. I want to just be able to get into it one day, obviously warm the engine up for 5 minutes, and then just get out on the road and enjoy the drive, not have to worry about how uncomfortable it is, all the bushes keep wearing out and stuff like that. So I've decided I'm going to get rid of the air ride and just put it back to normal suspension. These wheels could do with a wash and a refurb, but don't worry, that's coming in a future video. I think I'm going to need some new tyres as well. Right, I'm not too confident on knowing how to get this strut out. What I do know is that there's still air in this airbag, which is surprising because it's been holding in there for about 8 months. So first thing I need to do is get that air out of the airbag, and then I need to worry about all this wiring and pipe work, and then try and get this strut out. I think the first thing to get the air out of the air suspension, I think I'm going to disconnect the air lines, go into the manifold, which means everything's in the boot. So let's start by emptying this boot. Right, that's the complete air suspension set up in the boot. We have the compressor, the manifold, the air dryer, and the tank at the back. I don't know too much about this system, but I need to get the air out of the shock absorbers, well, the airbags. I think the best way around it is just to disconnect the air pipes from the manifold, but I know that it's going to pop with a loud bang because of the air pressure. Obviously, an easier way would be to start the car up and take the air out of the airbags electronically. The car has no battery because the battery is dead. So we're going to have to just do it manually, which means once you pop an air pipe off, it's going to go bang with all the pressure. Or we can cut one of the air pipes very slowly and then let all the air pressure release. So we're going to go with one of them methods now, just get the air out of the airbags. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. And now that there's no air in the airbags, let's take off these brackets and start cutting these cable ties. I need to take this trim off, which is the wheel arch trim, and then we need to start taking it off from the hub and dropping the airbag out. Right, this side wasn't as bad as I thought, to be honest with you. The lower bit of the airbag is already out. I just got to get the 3 bolts out from the top, and I didn't even have to remove the wheel arch trim because I just disconnected the pipe from the push fit section, which is right there. So I didn't have to disconnect the wheel trim, and the only thing left to do, sorry I'm lacking light over here, the only thing left to do is to take these 3 bolts out from the top, and this airbag can come out. Yes, 1 out, 3 more to go. And that's the second one out. Both front airbags are out. Sorry if you feel like I'm just skipping through all of this. I have removed and installed suspension on my car like 2 or 3 times already. So if you want to check that out, just go back and look at some of my previous videos because you'll see how I done it there. Right, it's time to start stripping the rear suspension, so the rear airbags, which are down there, if you can see them. I've already taken the wheels off. The next thing to do is just to take this 1 bolt out over here, which is for the lower arm, and then the rear airbag should just drop out. There is 1 bolt underneath which holds the rear airbags in. It's 14mm. So just 2 bolts and then the rear airbags should come out. And that's both the rear airbags, both the front airbags, all done. The only thing left I have to do is remove all the wiring and the tank, compressor, manifold, everything in the boot. Hopefully this is all just fucking screws and I can just pull the plugs and everything through and it's not too big of a problem. So it's been about half an hour since I started working on the boot. pretty much everything is empty. I've got the tank out, I've got the compressor, the ECU, well, the airbag, ECU, manifold, everything. I've got that all removed. My problem is that there's wiring that runs towards the front of the car, obviously it's for the control unit and stuff like that. And I can't get the doors opened wide enough for me to take the seats out and stuff like that to get the wiring out. So it's going to take a little bit of, you know, messing about with it. But I've had enough for today. It's 5 o'clock. I need to shower. I've got other things to do. So at least I've got all the airbags out. I've got most of the wiring out and stuff like that, and all the hardware out. So I'll mess around with the wiring another day. I've got to clean up the airbags that I've taken off and put them online and try and sell them. And then with money I'm getting for that, I'm going to try and buy new suspension and stuff like that. So then I can put this on shock absorbers and lowering springs. So at least I can start doing that. So I can clean up the airbags I've got, and then I can worry about this wiring later. So it's a few days later. All the air ride has been removed, including all the wiring and pipe work that runs to the front of the car. I've got a few new packages here with all the new suspension in it. Let me show you what I got. We've got some Bilstein, or I don't know if it's pronounced Bilstein, shock absorbers. Some Stance Plus 30mm lowering springs. Some new top mounts, dust covers and bump stops. And the bit that I'm dreading to install the most, all new rear suspension, tracking, bushing, all of that nonsense. I'm dreading to install this, but it needs to be done. Like I said, the air ride ruined all the bushes I have in the rear, and this is my fix. And that includes this complete 10-piece kit. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build up all the suspension, so get all the shock absorbers, put the springs, the dust covers and the top mounts onto it. Just because I have so many boxes in my garage and I need to start clearing some of this stuff out so I can start working. Let me build the suspension up, and then once I've done that, I'll worry about attacking them rear bushes. Right, so front suspension is all built up. I was just about to start fitting these rear bushes, and I was laying down underneath the car at the back, and I've realized that this is not a 1 hour, 2 hour job. This is gonna take me ages, and it doesn't make sense to do this all in one video. As you can see, it is not looking easy, especially when you're this low to the ground. So I'm thinking I'm gonna lower the car, put all the new suspension on. I'll save the bushes and I'll just do that in another day or maybe another video or whatever. But for now, at least we can get the car lowered and we can put the wheels on. So the hard bit of fitting the suspension, which is fitting the front two shock absorbers, are done. I didn't get a chance to do much filming, and the bits that I did film, the audio wasn't working. So I've done the hard bit. I've installed both front shock absorbers and springs. I've still got the rears to do, and I've still got to tighten up all the bolts and just finish it off. But for those of you guys that are looking to do this on your Golf, I'll give you a quick rundown. You need to remove the lower arm on both sides. You won't need to remove it to take the suspension out, but in order to fit the suspension, you need to remove the lower arms. And on the driver's side, you need to remove the drive shaft bolt. And as you can see, your shock absorber is all fitted. Right, so the front suspension is completely done. Let me just give you a quick rundown of what I've done. So the top three bolts are tight. Underneath, we got the drop link finally fitted. Bolts are tight on that. We've got the pinch bolt, which I've tightened up. The three bolts for the lower arm are tight. I've tightened up the hub nut bolt in the middle. Like I said, you only have to remove the one on the driver's side. And we've put the brackets back in for the brake lines and stuff like that. I do believe that that is everything you need to tighten on this suspension at the front, and now it's finally time to do the rear. So as we know, the spring's already been removed. Well, what was the rear airbag, And the only thing we got left to remove is the rear shock absorber, which is 2 bolts at the top, 121mm at the bottom, and that's it. And then the shock absorber should come out and we can put the new suspension in. Right, I've just realised I've made a mistake where I've taken the air ride out and I'm replacing it with lowering springs. I didn't realise that the lowering springs are meant to have a bush that sits at the top and at the bottom, and I don't have that because obviously the air ride was on there earlier. So I won't be able to install the springs today, but I will put the shock absorbers on. I'll order the bushes that sit at the top and bottom, and we'll have to do that another day. It's been a few days and the parts are finally here. Let's get these on, let's get the wheels on, let's finish the job because it's taken a lot longer than I wanted it to, and let's see how the suspension looks. That bit goes in there, like that. It is all done and back together. Time to throw the wheels on, get the axle stands out and see what this new suspension looks like. It's that time, guys, moment of truth. All the wheels have been fitted. It's time to take out the last axle stand. Let's see how low this thing is sitting. Right, it's not that low at the moment, I've just realised, but the handbrake's still on. So let's take the handbrake off and see if it drops a little bit more. Right, it's not sitting very low at the moment. It's literally about 3 finger space, which is not good at all. But I'm pretty sure that's just because we need to drive it and allow the suspension to settle, and once it's settled it'll probably drop a lot more, probably to about 1 finger, 1.5 finger space, which is ideal for what I needed. Like I said, I want it to be comfortable and an everyday drive, so we need to drive it. And unfortunately we can't drive it in this video because, like I said, the battery is dead and I need to get a new battery for it, but all in due time, 1 thing at a time. And so far the suspension is done, I'm happy. Time to move on to the next thing. By building this Golf GTI and building my garage, it has taken a lot of time, hard work and money. So by liking and subscribing would really be showing your appreciation. And like I said, loads more content coming soon. But until then, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Check this out.